Alright, so Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje seems to be the next fight for the lightweight title. I mean, Justin Gaethje's been calling for it, Islam Makhachev's been calling for it, especially with the new news that Islam Makhachev has turned down Ilia. It very much seems like this is going to be the next fight for the lightweight title. But first, I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe. We're really close to 570 subs. Anyway, let me get into it. Now, although most fans want to see the Ilia versus Islam Makhachev fight, it seems like the next lightweight title fight is trending towards Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje. And both these fighters seem to be kind of pushing for it. Maybe not as much for Islam, but Gaethje is really pushing for this, or at least the Diddy of MMA, Ali Abdelaziz, is really trying to push this on Justin Gaethje's behalf. Who knows? Now, Justin Gaethje has been calling for this fight on Twitter and in interviews, and honestly, he's kind of deserved a title shot for a while now. I mean, he lost to Max Holloway, but he really didn't even have to take that fight. He only took it because it was UFC 300, and they needed someone exciting on the card because the card was kind of lackluster at first. So I do think that Gaethje does have some sort of claim to a title shot. It's just that it's not remotely as strong as the case for Arman and Ilia and all those other guys, you know? But after his win over Rafael Fiziev at UFC 313, he had put out a tweet saying, "I won 3 out of my last 4, only losing in an exhibition fight. I have to fight for the belt. Dana White, I am ready." And again, I do think that is honestly a pretty fair thing to say, considering he was next in line for the belt before UFC 300 and then ended up getting knocked out by Max Holloway, which, you know, that fight kind of just came out of nowhere. So I don't really think it's that ridiculous to say that. And he calls for Islam Makhachev again in this post-fight interview.
What does interest you? You know, you said, hey, I'm here. I mean, does trying to get Dan Hooker again, does that make sense to you? Or are you thinking more like title shots with Victor? I mean, what does make sense to you?
I don't know. We'll see.
What do you want? What do you still want at this point in your career?
I mean, I want to fight for the belt, obviously.
So Justin wants to fight for the belt, and obviously the UFC sees Justin Gaethje as a walking highlight reel, a very entertaining, exciting fighter, a draw for the casual fans. So it does really seem likely that they would give him a title shot, especially because Justin Gaethje did save UFC 300, and he's a company guy. He's been working under the UFC for such a long time. So it does seem likely that the UFC would give him a title shot, especially because he's about to retire as well, and it seems like this is something that he wants. So maybe they just want to give this to him as his last fight. Now, as for Islam Makhachev, he doesn't seem to want Justin Gaethje specifically, but he just wants to fight a contender in his division before he moves up. Now, with Justin Gaethje, although it doesn't seem like Islam Makhachev specifically wants him, his coaches have said that Justin Gaethje is an ideal matchup for Islam. I'm actually really happy with this fight to happen, as long as Islam Makhachev fights Ilia right after, because to be honest, I think this fight would be perfect to hype up the Ilia fight, because look, Islam Makhachev right now is coming off the Renato Moicano win, where he subbed a random number 11 guy who came in on 1 day's notice and finished him in 1 round. Like, that wasn't exactly a very exciting performance. It was very lackluster, not because of Islam Makhachev or anything, it's just because it was a random guy. Like, it's not a very exciting win, it's not a very impressive win either, and on top of that, that fight was completely overshadowed by Merab and Umar. Just because that fight was so controversial, everyone kind of just forgot about Islam Makhachev and Renato Moicano. So if Islam Makhachev went from fighting Renato Moicano on 1 day notice to fighting Ilia, I feel like it would generate way more hype if he comes off an exciting win against Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje, he can easily finish Justin Gaethje. Okay, that's not a guy that he's going to be going to war against, 5-round war with Justin Gaethje. You know, it could happen, but it's still very unlikely. So if Islam Makhachev is able to get a highlight reel finish over Justin Gaethje, or even if they do go to war, if he can just have some sort of highlight, some sort of exciting fight, some big name to fight before Ilia, while Ilia can maybe fight another lightweight or something, it would be so great for that Ilia versus Islam Makhachev fight. The hype would absolutely be insane if Islam Makhachev like knocks out Justin Gaethje or submits Justin Gaethje in 1 round. But outside of this fight is completely pointless if Islam Makhachev just beats Justin Gaethje and then goes up to welterweight, okay? I really don't care about this fight that much. I still would want to see it, okay? Because I think Justin Gaethje versus Islam would probably be a great fight. But I'd much rather see Islam fight Ilia or Arman Tsarukyan if he's just going to go to welterweight right after. Because absolutely no one thinks that Justin Gaethje is going to win this fight, which just takes out all the excitement for it, okay? Lucas Tracy has been saying this for a while, and I completely agree, okay? There's literally no one who thinks that Justin Gaethje is going to somehow fluke a KO over Islam Makhachev. If he does this, he's inarguably the GOAT of the sport, because literally no one thinks it's going to happen. He would probably be like a plus 500 underdog or something, you know? Islam Makhachev would be like a minus 500 favorite. it completely takes away the excitement from the fight when it's like kind of obvious who's going to win this, especially because Justin Gaethje is like at the end of his career and Khabib has already beaten Max, just dominated him. It's really unlikely that Justin Gaethje is going to win this fight, which again, leading up to the fight and during the fight night, it's just not going to be that exciting, you know, it's just going to be whatever, you know, this is going to be a fun fight. And on top of that, this really does nothing for Islam Makhachev's legacy, okay? Because if you go off who deserves the fight next, it's probably Arman or Ilia, okay? It's not Gaethje. No one's thinking that Gaethje is like the absolute #1 contender and Gaethje needs to fight for the title. That's really not the case, and he's not that impressive of a win that if Islam Makhachev beats him, he's like automatically GOAT status. However, if he beats Arman Tsarukyan or Ilia Topuria, especially Ilia Topuria, if he beats Arman Tsarukyan, that's an immediate boost to his GOAT status. He's like talking like top 2, top 3 in the GOAT conversation. But if he beats Ilia Topuria, bro, we're talking about Islam Makhachev arguably being the GOAT of the sport if he beats Ilia Topuria. Just because Ilia Topuria is such an insane name to have on your resume. Instead of Justin Gaethje. Bro, if he beats Justin Gaethje, nobody is gonna care, okay? It literally does nothing for his legacy. So this fight is kind of pointless. I still would like to see it, but it's not that crazy. Now, the fight that the fans want to see more than anything right now is Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. And with Islam Makhachev saying that he doesn't want to fight Ilia Topuria and he thinks that Ilia Topuria should get at least one more fight at lightweight before he fights him, it kind of brings into question whether Islam Makhachev is ducking Ilia Topuria or not. And in my opinion, obviously I have the Islam profile picture, but in my opinion, I don't think he's ducking Ilia Topuria, okay? I feel like what he's asking is fairly reasonable for Ilia Topuria just to get one more fight at lightweight, and I think this is just karma for all the Islam Makhachev haters and all the Dagestani haters, you know, because a lot of these guys now want to see Islam Makhachev fight Ilia Topuria because Ilia Topuria is a guy who might be able to actually beat him, but all these people have been downplaying Islam Makhachev's resume and his career for the longest amount of time, saying that he can only beat featherweights over and over again, okay? He beat Volk, which is such an insane win, by the way. He beat the featherweight GOAT, and people are like, nah, man, he's a featherweight, bro. Okay, this is not a great win, alright, bro? He beat Volkanovski, a small Volkanovski. Bro, people have been downplaying that win so much. People have been saying that it's a robbery as well. People only say that Islam Makhachev can only beat featherweights. And now he doesn't want to fight a featherweight for that exact same reason, and people are like, oh my god, he's ducking Ilia Topuria, man. He's ducking Ilia Topuria. He's not ducking Ilia Topuria. He's just tired of all you guys saying that he can only beat featherweights. So, in my opinion, I don't think that Islam Makhachev is ducking, especially because as dangerous as Ilia Topuria is, he is very beatable, okay? His defense is not really great. You see him after every single fight. He has a red nose. I think Islam Makhachev and his team can see that and probably will be able to take advantage of it. And on top of that, Ilia Topuria's grappling is really not that high level as people make it out to be, okay? Yes, he is a good grappler, but it's really only in the sense that if someone was to grapple with him, he would probably be able to survive fairly easily and then be able to knock them out later. His grappling is really not that good. If you look at the Max Holloway fight, there's literally a moment where he struggles to take Max Holloway's back. There is no way that Islam or Umar and all these guys from, you know, the Nurmagomedov camp is going to struggle to take Max Holloway's back. Yes, Max Holloway has very good grappling defense, but seriously, like, I think that Islam would probably be able to take Max Holloway's back fairly easily, but Ilia Topuria seemed to have a really hard time doing that, okay? And, like, that's not the greatest, like, judge of how good Ilia's grappling is, but it's obviously not to the same level of Islam Makhachev. I mean, Islam Makhachev is one of the greatest grapplers of all time, okay? And I'm not glazing or anything, like, this is just facts, okay? But anyway, I don't think that Islam Makhachev is ducking Ilia Topuria just because he also said he's gonna fight him after one fight. Like, that's not even a long amount of time, okay? Ilia Topuria said he was gonna return at, like, International Fight Week anyway to fight at lightweight. He said he wanted to fight, like, Charles or something. Like, that's not a long amount of time, okay? It's not like Islam Makhachev saying, nah, man, Ilia Topuria has to go on a 9-fight win streak. Like, no, he said one fight, okay? That's not a long amount of time. He could easily get that one fight, and again, I really don't think that Islam Makhachev is the type of guy to duck anyone anyway, but maybe he is ducking Ilia Topuria, but I just really, really doubt it. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe. Thank you for all the members, okay? Titano, Cold Artmaker, and Jorge, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe. Alright.
Finna take that lounge truck to Japan. I'm like, little nigga, get your back.